it's Ash from Super Videos back at you for another video. In this video we're going to be talking about why was Rick smiling at the end of 709. So of course this video is going to contain spoilers. If you haven't seen 709, don't watch this video because it may spoil the events of 709 for you. So for those of you who have watched the episode, at the end of the episode we have Rick being surrounded by some members of a new community, and given all of that, and given the circumstance, we have Rick smiling, or at least cracking a smile at the end, right before the episode ends. So the main question is, why was he smiling? Now, of course, Talking Dead was right after the episode, and Greg Nicotero was one of the guests. Greg Nicotero is the executive producer of The Walking Dead, or one of the executive producers, and he's also the director of the episode. So I'm gonna go ahead and say what he said about this, and then I'm gonna give my thoughts about it and add to what Greg Nicotero said as well. So what Greg Nicotero said is that this episode was all about ups and downs for Rick Grimes. Of course, he went to the hilltop hoping that he would find some allies, but Gregory did not want to join him in the war. But the positive side of going to the hilltop was he was sure that Jesus would be on his side, and some other hilltoppers even said that they will definitely join in and that they can make an alliance with Rick Grimes and the Alexandrians in the fight against the Saviors. So that was a gain for Rick Grimes. And then he went to the kingdom, but King Ezekiel was not interested in helping Rick Grimes either. So that was another loss for Rick. Going to the kingdom didn't really have any sort of benefit for him. But at the same time, the gain that it had was that he now knew that there was at least some people at the kingdom, like Richard, who would want to help in the war. And if Rick were to convince Ezekiel somehow to join in, then he would definitely have some people or soldiers at the kingdom that would definitely be interested. And to add to that, when he was going back from the kingdom, he stumbled upon these explosives, these dynamites. So in those regards as well, it was a positive for him. It was a gain for him to go to the kingdom as well, because in the worst case, he ended up having some explosives that's gonna help him in the war. If none of the soldiers at the kingdom or none of the people at the kingdom and Ezekiel don't want to join in. So as you see, it's all about ups and downs in this episode. So Rick gets some good news, but at the same time he gets some bad news. So it's up and down. And then right at the end of the episode, he's being surrounded. So in that aspect, it's also a negative. But he is very optimistic at the same time. There's a gut feeling that he has that these people are going to somehow help him along the way, and he's going to be able to convince them to help. So that's what Greg Nicotero said. And the things that I want to add to it is basically that last bit. So I think for Rick Grimes, everything that is going through his head at the moment is that what has led him to be in this place. So he's thinking about Gabriel, he's thinking about why he ended up in this position in the first place. He's putting two and two together. So he's finding out that whatever this group or this community is, they are probably not that bad, because if they were bad, they would definitely not hesitate and attack Alexandria when they were at Alexandria. But they didn't. So that means that they're not all that bad. Given that Rick and Aaron stole from them, this community did not retaliate in a violent fashion. So in those terms, Rick is thinking to himself that there is something to be optimistic about. But at the same time, he's also thinking if he can convince this group of people to join him in the war, he has basically found his army. He has found the army he needs to fight the Saviors. And, in the best case, all of them would join. But in the worst case even, there would be some people from this community that are going to help him in the war. So if we're going to be very optimistic, we can say that all of them are going to join. But if we're just being realistic, we can say that some of them would probably be joining Rick in the war. That's assuming that they know about the Saviors and they also hate the Saviors as much as Rick and the others do. And all of those things that are going through Rick's head make him crack a smile, even though he's surrounded. It's the first time Rick Grimes is surrounded by a bunch of people pointing weapons at him and threatening him in a way, but Rick still manages to crack a smile, given the circumstance, which is pretty cool. But I want to know your opinions about this. Why do you think Rick smiled at the end of the episode, given that he was just surrounded by these people? That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.